Have you ever sat down at the dinner table with a warm plate of fish in front of you, maybe grilled just right, seasoned with a touch of lemon and herbs, and thought to yourself, this has to be healthy, right? It's fish. Everyone says fish is good for you. And honestly, most of the time that's true. Fish is lean, it's packed with protein, and we've all heard how great those omega-3s are for the heart and brain, especially as we get older. But what if I told you some of the most popular fish out there, the ones we often think are helping us stay healthy, might actually be doing more harm than good? What if I told you that certain fish could be slowly wearing down your body, quietly damaging your memory, your nervous system, even your heart, and you wouldn't even know it until it was too late? And here's the kicker. Most people have no idea. You see, as we age, our bodies just don't filter out toxins the way they used to. The immune system gets a little slower. Our organs, especially the liver and kidneys, work a little harder. That's natural, but that also means older adults are way more vulnerable to things like mercury, heavy metals, and chemical residues, many of which are hiding inside certain kinds of fish. Fish that look healthy, fish that are sold as premium, fish that doctors used to recommend without a second thought, but not anymore. And maybe you're not eating these fish every day. Maybe it's just once in a while at a family barbecue, a church potluck, or during your weekly dinner out. But those little moments, they add up, especially when your body's more sensitive to what it's taking in. I'm not here to scare you, but I am here to warn you, because if you're over 60 or you're caring for someone who is, this is the kind of information that could actually protect your long-term health. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 6 types of fish that older adults should never eat at all costs. These aren't guesses. This is based on health research, real case stories, and what nutritionists are quietly urging older folks to avoid. Some of them are probably in your fridge right now. Others are on every menu from coast to coast. And one of them, well, number 4, is the one that might just shock you the most. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to steer clear of and why. And most importantly, you'll have better, safer, smarter alternatives you can enjoy without sacrificing taste or your health. But before we dive in, let me ask you something simple. If you're here because you care about your health or the well-being of someone you love, drop a quick comment below that says I'm here. It tells me that this message is reaching the right people. And don't forget, subscribe because every day we share life-changing insights that help older adults live longer, feel stronger, and stay informed. All right, ready? Let's talk about the 6 fish you need to watch out for, starting with one that's often praised for its flavor, but quietly dangerous for aging bodies. Number 1, king mackerel. Now imagine this, your grandfather. He's always been the grill master of the family. Every Sunday, there he is out on the patio, flipping thick, juicy filets of king mackerel on the grill. He swears by it, says it's good for the heart, good for the brain. And to be fair, fish can be when it's the right kind. But over time, you start to notice something different in him. He's more tired than usual. He forgets simple things, names, appointments, where he left the remote. His hands sometimes tremble when he lifts his coffee cup in the morning. At first, you chalk it up to aging, just part of getting older, right? But what if it isn't? What if the very thing he thought was keeping him healthy was slowly causing more harm than he ever imagined? Here's what you need to know. King mackerel is one of the worst offenders when it comes to mercury levels in fish. Mercury is a heavy metal, and when you're younger, your body has more resilience. But as we age, our ability to flush out toxins like mercury slows down. That means it builds up quietly over time until it starts affecting the way you think, the way you feel, and even how your body functions. For seniors, too much mercury doesn't just mean forgetfulness. It can trigger serious cognitive decline, nerve damage, loss of coordination, and even cardiovascular stress. But here's where a lot of folks get it wrong. They confuse king mackerel with Atlantic mackerel. Sounds similar, right? But they're very different. Atlantic mackerel is much safer, lower in mercury, higher in nutrients, and it actually is a good choice for older adults. But king mackerel, it's a health trap in disguise, and no one's really out there waving a red flag about it. So, if it's sitting in your freezer, or if it's on your go-to list at the seafood counter, it might be time to make a change. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up fish entirely. Not at all. There are better alternatives that are both delicious and safe. Instead of king mackerel, try wild-caught salmon or sardines. Both are rich in omega-3s, low in mercury, and incredibly good for brain and heart health. They're not just safer, they're smarter choices for long-term wellness. And remember, when it comes to food at this stage of life, it's not just about taste, it's about protecting your future, one meal at a time. But mercury isn't the only danger hiding in your seafood. Some fish bring a different kind of threat, one that goes after your immune system, quietly weakening your natural defenses when you need them the most. Let's talk about the second fish older adults should absolutely steer clear of. Fish number 2, tilefish. Now here's the thing about tilefish. You might not even realize you're eating it. It's sneaky. You sit down at a nice restaurant, maybe you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or just having a special night out, and you see white fish or catch of the day on the menu. Sounds innocent enough, right? Light, flaky, maybe grilled with a lemon butter sauce. You think, well, it's seafood, it must be good for me. But what they don't always tell you is that fish could very well be tilefish. And tilefish, that's one you need to watch out for, especially if you're over 60. Let me explain why. Tilefish, particularly the kind caught in the Gulf of Mexico, has some of the highest mercury levels of any fish out there. We're talking even higher than king mackerel. And for older adults, that's a serious concern, because mercury isn't just something you hear about in scary documentaries. It's real. And when it builds up in your system, it starts to mess with your neurological health. That means your brain, your balance, your memory, even your mood. Over time, mercury toxicity can lead to numbness, confusion, memory loss, and for some people, even signs of dementia-like symptoms. And what makes this worse? Tilefish often shows up on menus as a premium option. It might come with a higher price tag, a fancier presentation. A name that sounds exotic but expensive doesn't always mean healthy. And in this case, it's the exact opposite. So here's a simple rule for when you're dining out. Always ask what kind of white fish is being served. Don't be shy. You have every right to know what's going on your plate. If they say tilefish, politely pass. Ask if they have something safer like cod or haddock. Both are mild, easy on digestion, and much lower in mercury. And your body, especially your brain, will thank you for it. Because in your later years, it's not just about what fills you up. It's about what keeps you sharp, steady, and strong. Now let's talk about a fish that sounds elegant, maybe even a little luxurious. But beneath that fancy name lies a web of hidden risks that older adults just shouldn't take. Fish number 3, swordfish. Now this one carries a certain image with it, doesn't it? You don't usually see swordfish served at everyday meals. It shows up at elegant dinners, maybe on a cruise ship or during a family celebration at a fancy restaurant. And it's not uncommon to hear an older parent or grandparent say, "I'll treat myself this time. I'll have the swordfish." It sounds rich, flavorful, special, and in their mind, it might feel like a healthy indulgence. But here's the part most people don't know. That special treat could be quietly doing long-term damage to their health. Swordfish is one of the longest living and largest predatory fish in the ocean. And because of that, it spends years and years absorbing mercury and other toxins from the food chain. By the time it lands on your plate, that beautiful filth can be loaded with mercury. Now remember, mercury doesn't just float through your system and disappear, especially in older adults whose metabolism has slowed down. It stays in the body. And where does it go? To the kidneys, the nervous system, and the brain. That means an increased risk of nerve damage, memory issues, tremors, and cognitive decline. And if you or your loved one already has a history of kidney strain, high blood pressure, or neurological issues, swordfish could quietly push things in the wrong direction. Now here's the dangerous assumption a lot of folks make. They think, well, if I grill it thoroughly, that should take care of anything harmful, right? Unfortunately, that's not how mercury works. You can't cook it out. You can't season it away. Mercury stays in the meat, whether it's raw, baked, or flame grilled. So what can you do instead? If you or someone you love enjoys a rich, hearty fish, there are safer alternatives that still bring flavor to the table. Try trout, especially rainbow trout or pollock. Both are mild, flaky, and easy to prepare. They're low in mercury, full of healthy fats, and much gentler on aging organs. It's all about making smart swaps, trading something risky for something nourishing. Because at this stage in life, food isn't just about enjoyment, it's about protection. And speaking of risks, what if I told you the next fish is one you've probably seen on every sushi menu, every seafood platter, every upscale buffet? It's sleek, popular, a favorite among seafood lovers. But for older adults, it might be just as dangerous as the last three, if not more. Fish number 4, AI tuna, also known as big eye tuna. Now this one might surprise you because sushi nights aren't just for the younger crowd anymore. You've probably seen it, or maybe even experienced it yourself, where your older friends, your parents, or even you go out for a fresh sushi platter. It's not just a meal, it's a social experience. It feels fresh, modern, and even light and healthy. And right there on the plate, front and center, is that beautiful slice of deep red AI tuna. But here's the truth. Most people don't realize that AI tuna might not be doing your body any favors. In fact, for older adults, it can pose a serious health risk. Let's break it down. AI tuna, also known as big eye tuna, is a type of tuna often enjoyed raw in dishes like sushi and sashimi. It has a rich, meaty texture and a vibrant, deep red color that makes it popular among seafood lovers. But what most people don't know is that AI tuna can be a hidden health risk, particularly for seniors. Big eye tuna is a large, long-living fish that swims deep in the ocean. Because it lives a long time and sits high up on the food chain, it accumulates significant amounts of mercury. Just like swordfish, big eye tuna has mercury levels that are much higher than many other fish. This heavy metal builds up in its flesh through a process called bioaccumulation. But here's where AI tuna becomes even more concerning. Unlike swordfish, which is typically cooked, AI tuna is often eaten raw. Sushi, sashimi, or lightly seared tuna steaks leave the fish essentially uncooked, which brings a whole other risk into the picture: bacteria and parasites. When you're young and your immune system is robust, your body might handle the occasional exposure to bacteria or parasites in raw fish. But as we age, our immune systems naturally weaken. Even something as simple as a mild bacterial infection from raw tuna can hit harder, last longer, and be significantly more dangerous. We're talking about pathogens like salmonella, listeria, and even parasites that the aging body just can't fight off the way it used to. The result? Symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, fever, and dehydration, which can be particularly serious for older adults, might become prolonged or even life-threatening. And when you combine mercury exposure with the bacterial risk, that's a double strike to an aging body. Mercury toxicity itself can affect the nervous system, leading to symptoms like tremors, memory problems, and even cardiovascular issues. For seniors, this risk is not just theoretical. It's a real health threat that could compromise their well-being. Not all tuna are the same. Here's where it gets even more confusing. Most people think all tuna is the same. You see tuna on a label and assume it's a safe, healthy choice. But there's a big difference between the types of tuna you might find in your local grocery store or at a sushi restaurant. Big eye tuna and albacore tuna, these are on the high mercury list. You'll often find them in high-end sushi rolls or seared tuna dishes. They may taste rich and flavorful, but the health risks are substantial. Skipjack tuna. Often labeled as light tuna in cans, skipjack tuna is much safer. It's lower in mercury, more affordable, and easier to portion. This makes it a better option, especially for seniors. The problem arises when you're at a restaurant or buying fresh tuna. Labels rarely specify the exact type of tuna used, especially when it comes to sushi. That's why it's essential to be informed and cautious. What to do instead? Safer tuna choices. If you or someone you care for loves tuna, consider making canned light tuna your go-to choice. Here are some practical tips. 1. Opt for canned light tuna. This usually comes from skipjack tuna, which is significantly lower in mercury than big eye or albacore. 2. Limit your intake. Stick to no more than 2 servings per week for seniors. This helps keep mercury exposure within safe limits. 3. Choose cooked over raw. Whenever possible, go for cooked tuna dishes rather than raw ones. Cooking reduces the risk of bacterial infections, making it a safer option for older adults. Be mindful at restaurants. When dining out, don't hesitate to ask your server about the type of tuna being served, especially if it's raw or lightly seared. Why this matters. Making this small change in your diet could make a big difference in avoiding hidden health threats. It's not just about eating what tastes good. It's about making choices that support long-term wellness and independence. By switching from big eye tuna to light tuna, you reduce your risk of both mercury exposure and bacterial infections. 2 significant health concerns for older adults. We often focus on eating fish as part of a healthy diet, which is great because seafood has plenty of benefits. But not all fish are created equal, and in some cases, like AI tuna, they can actually pose more risks than benefits. Making informed choices about what you eat is crucial, especially as you age. By choosing safer options and being mindful of how tuna is prepared, you not only protect your health, but also enjoy your meals without the hidden risks. Taking simple steps to reduce mercury intake and minimize exposure to bacteria is an investment in your well-being. Now that we've covered the potential pitfalls of AI tuna, let's shift gears because the next fish we're about to discuss isn't just a grocery store regular. It's incredibly popular worldwide. However, the conditions in which it's farmed can raise red flags, especially for seniors. Stay tuned. Fish number 5, farmed salmon. You've seen it before. You walk into your local grocery store, and there it is, a neatly wrapped fillet of salmon sitting proudly on display. The vibrant pink color catches your eye, and the price is marked down. You think to yourself, this is a steal. Salmon's healthy, right? But here's the part that's rarely mentioned on the label. Not all salmon is created equal, and if that salmon is farmed, especially from countries with loose regulations like Chile or parts of Southeast Asia, it could be carrying more than just protein and omega-3s. The reality of farmed salmon. Most people think of salmon as one of the healthiest fish you can eat. After all, it's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, high in protein, and touted as a heart-healthy option. However, when it comes to farmed salmon, the reality is far less rosy. Farmed salmon are typically raised in crowded underwater pens, where thousands of fish are kept in tight quarters. These pens are like underwater feedlots, with the fish swimming in confined spaces and eating pellets made from low-quality ingredients. The cramped environment makes it nearly impossible for them to swim freely, which can lead to stress and disease. To combat the spread of illnesses and parasites, farmed salmon are often fed antibiotics. And that's not all. Because the natural color of farmed salmon's flesh would be a dull gray due to their diet, they are also given chemical colorants to mimic the pink hue of wild salmon. These artificial pigments don't add any nutritional value. They just make the fish look more appealing to consumers. The hidden dangers. But the issues with farmed salmon go deeper than antibiotics and colorants. The feed given to these fish is often contaminated with PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, and dioxins, toxic industrial chemicals that can build up in fatty tissues. These substances have been linked to a range of serious health issues, including cancer. Both PCBs and dioxins are classified as probable human carcinogens. Hormone disruption. They can interfere with the endocrine system, leading to imbalances. Immune system damage. These toxins can weaken the body's natural defenses, making it harder to fight off infections. Chronic inflammation. For seniors, this can mean worsened arthritis, increased joint pain, and higher cardiovascular risk. And here's the scary part. Older adults are especially vulnerable. An already sensitive system can't easily detoxify harmful substances, meaning the long-term effects can be more severe. A false sense of health. It's no wonder so many people are confused. They hear about the omega-3 benefits of salmon and assume that all salmon is equally good. But farm-raised salmon, especially when consumed regularly, can do more harm than good. The high levels of contaminants and unhealthy fats often outweigh the potential benefits of omega-3s. What's the better option? So what should you do if you love salmon or are trying to make healthy choices for yourself or a loved one? The answer is simple. Choose wild-caught Alaskan salmon. Here's why. Cleaner and safer. Wild salmon from Alaska is caught in pristine waters, far from industrial pollution. Leaner and more nutritious. It's naturally rich in omega-3s without the chemical additives. Fewer contaminants. Wild salmon are not fed pellets or treated with antibiotics. Sustainable fishing. Wild-caught methods help maintain fish populations without relying on overcrowded, disease-prone farms. Yes, wild-caught salmon is usually more expensive, but when you consider the health risks associated with farm salmon, it's an investment worth making. After all, what's more important than your health or the health of your loved ones? A final thought. Many seniors eat salmon because they believe it supports heart health and brain function. But it's crucial to understand that not all salmon delivers the same benefits. Opting for wild-caught instead of farmed not only reduces your exposure to harmful chemicals, but also ensures you're truly reaping the nutritional rewards salmon has to offer. Now that we've covered the unexpected risks of farm salmon, let's move on to the final fish on our list, one that may stir up a bit of nostalgia. For many seniors, this next fish isn't just a food item, it's a comfort, a reminder of home in simpler times. But in today's world, even comfort food needs a closer look. Stay tuned. Fish number 6, imported catfish. Now picture this. Your grandfather is in the kitchen frying up a batch of crispy catfish just the way he used to. It's a weekend tradition, a family favorite. That smell alone brings back memories of childhood, laughter, and togetherness. But what if I told you that same catfish, if it's imported, could be putting him at serious risk? Here's the problem. Imported catfish, especially those coming from parts of Asia, are often raised in unregulated fish farms with poor sanitation and questionable practices. These farms use antibiotics and chemicals to keep diseases at bay. But many of those antibiotics are banned here in the US because they've been linked to antibiotic resistance and even long-term health issues. So when a senior eats catfish from one of these sources, they may be exposing themselves to drug-resistant bacteria their immune system isn't prepared to handle. And remember, older adults already have a weakened immune response. Something that might only cause mild stomach upset in a younger person could lead to serious illness, hospitalization, or worse in someone over 65. Still, people choose it because it's cheaper, more accessible, and easy to find in bulk. But that low price, it comes at a hidden cost. So what's the safer route? If you or your loved ones enjoy catfish, stick to US farm varieties. American standards for fish farming are much stricter with better water quality, regulated feed, and limited use of antibiotics. And no matter where it's from, make sure it's fully cooked. Well-done catfish can reduce bacteria risk, especially for those with slower digestion or chronic illnesses. Comfort food should bring comfort, not danger. Now that we've gone through these 6 fish older adults should avoid, it's time to pause and reflect on what this really means for your well-being or for the well-being of someone you care about. Because behind every item on this list isn't just science, it's about protection, it's about preserving quality of life, one meal at a time. Let's take a breath here. We've talked about mercury, toxins, and hidden dangers in common fish. But at the heart of it all, this is about something much deeper. Seeing a loved one make choices that slowly harm their health without even realizing it is painful. Maybe it's your mother who thinks she's eating healthy because she picks salmon. Maybe it's your grandfather who still enjoys his favorite fried fish from the diner every Friday. They're trying to do what's right. They're doing what they've always done. And yet these small, everyday choices could be nudging their health in the wrong direction little by little. And you see it happening. You see them getting more tired, forgetting things more often, getting sick more frequently. You wonder if it's just age, but sometimes it's also what's on their plate. And that's hard because these are the people who raised us, who gave us everything. And now in these later years, they're the ones who need us most. But here's the thing, this moment right now is where the shift happens. This isn't about fear. This isn't about guilt. This is about power, your power. Because now you know what to look for. You know which choices carry risk and which ones bring relief. And that knowledge, that's everything. It means you can gently guide your parents to better options without scaring them. You can help your spouse make a wiser choice at the grocery store. You can check a menu before you order, not out of fear, but out of love. Because love, especially in our later years, looks like this. It looks like checking a label. It looks like asking, "Where's this fish from?" It looks like saying, "Let's try something new this week." And that's why I'm telling you now, you don't have to give up fish. You don't have to give up your favorites. You just have to be a little more intentional. Choose wild caught. Choose low mercury. Choose what supports your body, not what breaks it down. Even small changes can bring years of clearer thinking, stronger bones, healthier hearts, and better sleep. Isn't that what we all want for our later years? Isn't that what we want for the people we love? Let today be the start. Tonight, check your fridge. See what's in there. Read the labels. Think about what you've learned today and take one small step, just one. Maybe it's replacing that big eye tuna with canned light. Maybe it's swapping out that sale bin farm salmon for a cleaner, wild-caught piece. Maybe it's just having a conversation at the dinner table about making smarter choices together. That's how change begins. Not with big dramatic moves, but with careful, loving steps in the right direction. And please hear this. No matter your age, no matter your health history, you still have control. Your health is not behind you. It's still within your reach. Better choices, better days, they're possible starting right now. Because caring for yourself or someone you love isn't just about medicine and appointments. It's about what you do every day, what you eat, what you know, and how you act on it. And I promise you, these little things, they make the biggest difference. Let's take a moment to bring it all together. To quickly recap, there are 6 fish older adults should really think twice about before putting on their plate. King mackerel sounds healthy but packed with mercury. Tilefish, often hidden in restaurant meals, quietly harming the brain. Swordfish, elegant on the outside, dangerous on the inside. AI tuna, big eye tuna, a sushi favorite but risky, especially for older immune systems. Farm salmon, it's not the salmon itself, but the way it's raised, that's the issue. Imported catfish, cheap and easy to find, but often comes with hidden, harmful baggage. Each one might seem innocent, even healthy at first glance. But as we've learned today, they each come with a unique risk to aging bodies, from mercury buildup to inflammation to dangerous bacteria. And when you're older, when your immune system is slower and your organs are more sensitive, those risks matter. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you or a loved one regularly eaten any of these fish without knowing the risks? Was one of them a weekly staple in your home like it was in mine for years? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I truly want to hear your stories, your questions, or even your favorite safer alternatives. Let's learn from each other. Let's grow together. Because this isn't just a video, it's a community. And if this helped you even just a little, please give it a thumbs up so it reaches someone else who needs this information too. This channel is your daily home for real practical advice on aging well, staying informed, and caring for yourself and your loved ones with intention and wisdom. From nutrition to mental health to small lifestyle choices that make a big difference, we cover it all every day. So whether you're here for yourself or for someone you love deeply, you're in the right place. And before we wrap up, let me just say thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being curious. Thank you for choosing knowledge and action over fear and confusion. You are the reason this message matters, because every informed choice you make today leads to a better tomorrow for you and for those you love. So stay wise, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.